Everybody got one. This is my beer drinking song. Born dead and broke, still trying to earn a dollar. I've got to change from the ways of this old blue collar. I work my fingers to the bones to pay my bills. Now my uptown dreams just went downhill. You laugh if you want 'em, but I don't think it's funny. Lord knows I got too much money at the end of my morning. They repoed my truck 'cause I couldn't make the payment. I got a call from the bank in regard to a bad check. I tried to call my baby, said I'm taking you out, but I didn't pay my phone bills past due amount. I'm catching pure hell from Monday through Sunday. Lord knows I got too much money at the end of my morning. 7 days a week and I don't see a dime. Lord knows the government is robbing me blind. How's a man ever gonna get on his feet when it's too many ends to meet? Man, I need money like a fish needs water. Yeah, between the lint and the change, I ain't got a quarter. Everything you see is everything that I own. Lock, stock, and barrel, man, my dog's even gone. You're wondering why I'm walking around every day bumming. Lord knows I got too much money at the end of my morning. Yeah, I got too much money at the end of my morning. All right now.
Tough enough, brother. Tough enough. Tough enough, brother. Tough enough. All right, brother. Thank you, brother. Greetings. This is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhymes, and I'm in Valdosta, Georgia. We have heard much talk about Kendrick Johnson's death at Lowndes County High School. We've heard a lot about the Quitman 10+2 over in Brooks County. We also have heard about Juan Egerton's death at Magic 95 radio station. We also have heard about Quitman police officer Earl Evans years ago, who was dating a white woman, and he was burned up in a police car after being shot. Black African American, if you will. Ed Denson, also dating a white girl in Quitman, Georgia, found dead, along with the Wootons, drowned in a pond. Many believe that was a murder case, yet nothing has happened about it. And so, when people look at the death of KJ, they say, why are the black community and the white right people so concerned about what the G.B.R. said concerning the autopsy of Kendrick Johnson? Why don't the family just leave it alone? It is indeed because in the archival record of the black African American communities, we have over 100 people that have been murdered, killed, or just died outright, reasons unknown, here in Brooks and Lowndes County, Georgia. Some going back to before the 1900s, but more particular, we must focus on May 1918, wherein 15 to 25 blacks were murdered outright in Brooks and Lowndes County, Georgia, and nothing has been done about it. We believe that law enforcement had something to do with some of those deaths, at least Mary Turner and her husband Hayes Turner. You know the story about Mary Turner, who were lynched, had a 8-month-old fetus cut from her womb and burned to a crisp. These names during the week of terror were sent to the Georgia governor back at that day. Nothing was done about it. And so we must ask a question today. Why is it that the KJ family, the mother and father, are so outraged and will not stop until they receive justice? Because I believe, just like the 31 jail deaths in the Valdosta Lowndes County Jail from 1994 to 2009, for whatever reason, and from 2009 to 2013, our elected officials at the local level, the state level, including the Attorney General, as well as Eric Holder at the Department of Justice, seem to be unconcerned about the problems here in South Georgia and the state of Georgia in general. So we are going to continue to give you the truth, although it seems as if though the South Georgia news media are saying to the black and white right community that yes, you may say that the tree fell in the forest, but if we don't report it, it never failed. And therefore, we will continue to disrespect you by ignoring your news. I guess they would say to the Kendrick Johnson mother and father, when you had your last rally, we saw that it was on page 4A in the Valdosta Daily Times, our only local newspaper. But just a few miles away in Jacksonville, Florida, it was front page coverage. That should tell you something about what's going on here in Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia, as well as the state of Georgia. And I believe it was the Honorable Jack Kingston or Brian P. Kemp, who was one of them, had an article or interview in the Quitman Free Press, home of the Quitman 10, that read, if it's not in your local newspaper, then it didn't happen. Well, the Ghetto Free Press have disapproved that so many times till it's not even funny. And so we just want you to know, as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story. Halloween is coming up for 2013. And I'm leaving you with this point that should pierce your brains along the line of righteousness. When you spend your dollars for Halloween, if you go to a hardware store and if you see 10, 15, 25, 50 employees, and if none of them are white, then you may want to consider taking your money someplace else. If you go into a retail clothing store owned by a black person with 15, 50, or 100 employees, and if you don't see any whites, Asians, or Koreans employed, if all you see is black people, then I suggest you not spending your money with that black merchant, because after all, we are a diverse nation, and we should be somewhat of a replica of the community in which we live. What are you saying, Brother Rhymes? All I'm saying is this: if you don't respect and if you don't rehire the Asians and Koreans and whites and Germans in your black-owned retail business, then what is left for them to do but to break in your convenience stores, to sit on their porch when they would want to work but can't find work because the black merchants don't hire them, what else are there for them to do? What else can they do? Now I know some say the white people are not qualified. Some say the Japanese are not qualified. Some say the Koreans are not qualified. Some say the Arabs are not qualified. Some say the Latinos are not qualified. Well, if they are not qualified, and if you want to do what Jesus said, then train them. Make them qualified so they can cut back on the crime in their communities. Black merchants, if you love Jesus, and if you go to church, or if you go to mosque, or if you go to synagogue, or if you go to temple, or if you go to atheist halls, or what you call, what you follow, then just train them so you can be a reflection of the good of our beloved nation. Once again, if the Japanese, Chinese, Germans, Koreans, and others can fill the roles on the battlefield, then why not, should not the black merchant employ these people? If they can fill up the jails and prisons, then they should get a phone call from the halls of justice saying, hello, hello, hello. If you're not trained for this job, then we will train you. But we want to be a true reflection of the community in which we live. We don't want the Japanese, the Chinese, or Germans to fill the jails, prisons, and death row. We want them to have fair access to what we have. After all, did not Jesus say to love your neighbor as you want to be loved by them? Let me repeat. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And should you not want for your neighbor that which you have and want for yourself and your own family? That's the teachings of Jesus. You don't have to worry too much about Rush Limbaugh and Glenn Beck and the rest of the modern day Christians. We must understand in closing that Lester Maddox was a patriot and he was a Christian. George Wallace was a patriot and he was a Christian. Sheriff Bull Connors was a patriot and he was a Christian. And so we must understand a new level of Christianity, a new level of Islam, a new level of Buddhism, a new level of Hindu, and that is to love and want for your neighbor the same thing you want for yourself and your own family. Once again, we cannot continue here in the United States of America. We cannot continue to play the game of see no evil, speak no evil, and hear no evil when evil is all around us. Somebody must tell the truth. Somebody must shine the sunlight so life can be preserved and so life can continue in a way that is equal and productive to all of us. So it's obvious in many situations the South Georgia news media has said when it comes to the black community, we don't see you, we don't hear you, and that's the way it is. But there's a new level of intelligence among us, and that level of intelligence is following the real doctrines of the real Jesus and of the real Muhammad and the real Moses, the son of Amram and Yoshabel, and all the other great worthies that came to help build a better world. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press, doing what we do because it must be done, as others that preceded us to help build a better nation. Bye-bye. Again, do you not know that Valdosta in Lowndes County in the state of Georgia is a very strange place to live? Based upon the historic archival record, it seems as if though Georgia operates on their own set of laws. Do you not know that Valdosta and Lowndes County Jail are leading the state of Georgia in jail deaths? Yet nobody is reporting that to the general public. Just last Saturday, I traveled over to Waycross, Georgia. There was a press conference. All the local news media in that area was invited. There was no television station coverage about that black African-American man that was shot dead in his own home with his mother just a few feet away from him. And an 8-year-old child was right there in the room along with other people. 2 police officers in Ware County was there in the room with them. Shot him 3 or 4 times in the back. Now, if that's not excessive force, what is? Of course, the new Black Panther Party was there, along with Brother Worthy, Pastor Malone, President of the local Southern Christian Leadership Conference, I believe it is there. But the point remains, there is something wrong here in the state of Georgia. And so, even before this death with Kendrick Johnson, the Quitman 10+2 over in Brooks County, there was question about the G.B.R. as they investigated people in that community. Many people was afraid to go back to the polls to vote. And on the day of Lula Smart trial, one of the Quitman 10, that eventually the case was dismissed. I just don't know where to start. But I just want to say to the Associated Press that you may need to come back to South Georgia. I want to say to CNN and Victor Blackwell, you may need to look at some more cases here in South Georgia. Yeah, I think that'll be a good idea. And so all of my videos will be sent and hooked up with the Associated Press. I'm doing this because I want the Associated Press to know, like the Justice Department already know. They've been knowing for years, decades if not, what has been going on here, and nothing has been happening. Thank God for the Honorable Victor Blackwell of CNN for reporting, breaking this story, raising it up to a national and international level. And I believe that this is just the peak of the pyramid. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press on the street of Valdosta, Georgia, doing what we do because it must be done. We cannot continue to cover up. We cannot continue to deny parents the right to view the body of their beloved family members when they die in the jail or whether they die at home. It is time now because Valdosta needs to move into the 21st century. By the way, I was unable to go to the historic Wintersville Classic last week because I am under a 151-day criminal trespass warning by persons and agencies unknown. Once again, this is George Boston Rhymes out here with the Kendrick Johnson family because in times like these, the family need all the support they can get from the best Americans we can find at this dispensation. Bye-bye. We gone.